Welcome to Daily Wisdom, where every single day we seek to take a piece of God's wisdom and then apply that to our everyday life. I want to start our time off together with a question today. Have you ever felt really blessed? Maybe it was due to some extra time that came your way and you felt blessed by that extra time, or it could be through a new friendship that you've had develop. It could be through a new job opportunity, or maybe you were given a platform of influence among people and you felt blessed by that. Or it could be financially. Maybe you have felt blessed by the resources that you did not expect to have and now you have them. Could be a number of ways that you have felt blessed. I have felt blessed in many ways. But when it comes to this idea of having more time, more resources, more influence, there's something we should keep in mind that we're going to learn from Jesus in the teaching that we see today. We are in Luke chapter 5, and what happens in this chapter is Jesus, his ministry is beginning to grow, and he's beginning to become more popular among the people, and he heads out to the Sea of Galilee to teach among a group of people, and these people are gathering, and the crowd gets larger, and he notices that Peter, one of his new followers, has a few boats by the side of the lake there, as he is a fisherman. And we learn some details about Peter and his business in this chapter. We learn that Peter was probably quite a successful fisherman because he had more than one boat. It was not a one-man operation. It actually tells us in the text that Peter had partners in his fishing business. So he was probably quite successful. So Jesus gets onto one of these boats and he has Peter just pull slightly away from the shore because the crowd is getting big, and he begins to teach. And after he's done teaching, he instructs Peter to take his boats away from the shore into deeper waters and to drop his nets. And Peter responds. I could just imagine Peter thinking, Jesus, you're the theologian, you're the great teacher. You were even a carpenter, but you're not a fisherman. And he tells Jesus, we have been out all night. We have been working our tails off. We've been working hard, and we have not caught anything. I think this is going to be a waste of time. But he submits to Jesus' instruction and says, but because you're asking, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I could just picture Peter copying a little bit of an attitude when Jesus tells him to drop his nets in deeper water. But he does so. And after he does so, he picks up the biggest catch of fish ever. Tremendous amount of fish. He has to call in his partners with the other boats and have everyone helping because this catch was so large. Let's look at what happens in Luke chapter 5, verse 6, as Peter responds to this great catch of fish. When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. When Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch of fish that they had taken. And so were James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Simon's partners. Then Jesus said to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." So they pulled up their boats on shore, left everything, and followed him. Simon Peter experiences an amazing blessing. A huge amount of fish, one of the largest catches he's ever seen, to the point where his nets begin to break and the boats begin to sink under the weight of their catch. You can only imagine what that must have looked like, and how Simon Peter must have felt when Jesus is standing right in front of him and he just copped an attitude. You see Simon's response as he falls at the knees of Jesus and weeps and just says, "I don't deserve to even be in your presence, God," because of probably he had a bit of an attitude when he wasn't ready to quite follow through with the instructions Jesus had given, but he submitted to doing so even though he didn't believe. And sometimes, friends, we don't see God's blessing coming. Sometimes we can't see into our future and predict how good things may go for us. But that blessing, as Jesus points out in his words to Peter, that blessing has a purpose. When God allows things to go right in your life, He doesn't want us to forget that we have a greater purpose, and that is to let other people know about His goodness, about the hope that we can find through God's wisdom. And so don't forget that the next time you have a blessing come your way, that God has a greater purpose for you, and maybe you can use that blessing to help others know about the hope that Jesus offers to everyone. That's today's Daily Wisdom. I hope you found today's video encouraging. If so, hit that thumbs up button. That'll help others to see it. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, consider doing so. We'll see you tomorrow.